I've been so hyped for this drama. Just imagine you're watching this right beside your Korean friend. Okay, let's dive in.
그게 제 탓입니까?
그대 탓이지요. 그대가 섭정을 하니까요.
A grand prince cannot act as a regent. According to the strict royal law, the Queen Dowager is the only one who holds the power of regency.
소속.
주작공 9학년입니다.
This refers to the ancient Eastern myth of the four guardian deities. We have the blue dragon of the east, the white tiger of the west, vermilion bird of the south, which is the Jujak mentioned here, and black turtle of the north. You know how in the Lord of the Rings or the Wizard of Oz, there are wise guardians of west or the north? It's exactly like that kind of mythology. That's supposed to be royal attire, but from a Korean's perspective, honestly, well, they look like servers at the traditional Korean restaurant. It's kind of plain. I know wooden buildings are vulnerable to fire, but the historical research here seems pretty weak. The Seokjojeon, a Western-style stone building, was already completed back in 1910. It was built with marble, not wood, making it the most modernized and fire-resistant palace of its time. The fact that the royal family is still living in the wooden structure, it's disappointing. Honestly, isn't that the massive royal security flaws?
600년 조선에
The Joseon dynasty was founded in 1392 and lasted until 1910 when Japan stripped away its sovereignty. It looks slightly different, yeah, but this looks very similar to the actual royal seal of the Korean Empire. During the era of Japanese interference, the king of Joseon changed the national system from a kingdom to an empire, hoping to build power like Western nations. But in reality, it was just a name change. Foreign powers, especially Japan, they were already heavily interfering with intentions to colonize. Eventually, Korea was forced to sign the Free Trade Treaty, completely stripped away its national sovereignty. Well, this goes completely against the royal etiquette. Sure, it's just a drama, but this is way too far. Even in normal reality, a sister-in-law beating up his husband's younger brother, that just makes zero sense.
섭정 중인 이한대군의 행보가 국민들의 주목을 받고
Grand Prince Suyang later becomes the 7th king of Joseon. He's famous for usurping the throne from the 6th king, who was just a 12-year-old boy. You can get a deep dive into this history through the movie The Face Reader. The main character is fictional, but it's based on the true history. The historical accuracy is fantastic, and it's a brilliant movie. A prince actually threatening a government officials like that? That would have been a massive felony, even in Joseon dynasty. There was actually a real historical event where a crown prince killed the palace servant. As a result, the king locked his own son in a small wooden chest for 8 straight days and let him starve to die. Of course, there's a lot more historical and political context to it. For the full story, you have to watch the movie The Throne, 사도. It's on Netflix right now, and it is cinematically masterpiece.
근데 이렇게 입고 온 거야?
응. 왜? 별로야?
거래선 빨간색 입으면 안 되지 않아?
뭔 상관? 법으로 금지된 것도 아닌데?
Since the Joseon dynasty, red has been the color of the king, so nobody was allowed to wear red in front of him. However, there were exceptions for weddings, folk festivals, decorations, and surprisingly, children's clothes. The king's royal guards were also allowed to wear red because they represented the royal authority.
여기선 너랑 나랑 세트야. 장사치.
This is kind of an insult for merchants. Joseon society was strictly ranked: scholars, farmers, artisans, and finally, merchant at the very bottom. But treating businessmen as the lowest class in the modern era, fiction or not, that crossed the line. It totally ignores modern reality. This isn't CGI. It's a real place. It's Hwaseomun, the western gate of Suwon Hwasong Fortress. By the way, Hwasong Fortress is UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is what it says really. In times of peace, do not forget the danger. In times of survival, do not forget the ruins. And in times of order, do not forget the chaos. Wow, this is a real location. The 일두 고택 in 경상남도, 함양. It's a national treasure site and used to be a nobleman's house. It's absolutely gorgeous. Well, the name here is just wrong. Korea's full English name is a Republic of Korea, but the true meaning of 대한민국 is, in Korean, the nation of Great Han, Korean, people. Joseon was the dynasty, and after gaining independence from Japanese colonial rule, we became a democratic republic. As I mentioned earlier, the Korean Empire existed briefly in between. If we assume the concept of using empire doesn't fit the modern era and they drop the word, it should be called the Kingdom of Great Han, 대한왕국, not the Republic. Isn't that how other countries do it? Writers should use kingdom, so using 대한민국 here feels like a minor plot hole. It should say 대한왕국. Countries with constitutional monarchies and using kingdom or principality, right? It's just not right. Back in the Joseon dynasty, people often got married without even knowing what their partners looked like. Usually, the groom side would send the document containing his actual birth year, month, day, and time to the bride side. It was wrapped in a precious silk showing both red and blue color. They truly believed in this shamanistic practice to see if their birthday made them good match. Anyway, the point is that traditionally, the man sent it to the woman. But here, the woman is sending it to men. Considering the unique dynamics of the royal family, I guess it makes sense in this context. There is just so much more to talk about, and that was only a first episode. I'm planning to film the episode 2 very soon, so if you want to stay in the loop, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notifications. See you in the next video.